One leg? Yeah. Well, be careful. Good job, my little pumpkin.
And they charged us for the sprinkles and the whipped cream.
They did?
Yeah.
Daddy, Mommy.
That's why I didn't give them a 10.
Mom. Mommy.
I wouldn't have either.
Mommy. Mom, I'm talking to you.
You gotta go potty?
No, Mommy, I will tell you something. I said pink. Look, I'm not touch pink. Look, I can do okay.
Hop, hop, skip, skip. Get it, Kara. Get it, Kara.
I can't touch pink, Mommy.
She's such a little girl. Hello, welcome. Welcome, Judith. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Mimi Show. Guys, yes, welcome, welcome. All right, let's see what's going on with the war do.
I want to get out.
You want to get out?
You want Daddy to get out with you?
No, you could jump.
You want me to get out?
You go in. I go outside.
You want me to go in?
I go.
You drank your coffee up?
Yeah, it's gone.
Not like this.
Sorry, I'll show it.
I was going to ask for some of it.
Oh, God bless. I drank it. I
To
go.
pour some of mine in there, yours, to get it sweeter.
Daddy, this is a different.
Whoa!
Regarding Andrew, I think he should be.
All right, what we got going on today, guys?
Donald Trump is crashing out this morning as
He's gotta
Iran
go
is
potty,
directly
Daddy.
threatening him. Iran is saying to Donald Trump, if you try to take over the Karg Island, we are going to retaliate and we will. Donald Trump is crashing out this morning as Iran is directly threatening him. Iran is saying to Donald Trump, if you try to take over the Karg Island, we are going to retaliate and we will shut down the Red Sea. The same way we shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Get ready. We will do the same exact thing in the Red Sea. A statement was put out over Iran's semi-official news network called the Tasmin News. An Iranian official said that safe passage through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait in the Red Sea would be quickly shut down if these Marine expeditionary units that Donald Trump is sending to the Middle East go to the Karg Island or try to enter the Strait of Hormuz. It should be noted that in the Red Sea, that's where the Houthis previously were able to shut down a lot of the traffic of cargo ships and fuel ships previously. The Houthis have not yet been activated in this war, and Iran is saying we are prepared to escalate right now and activate the Houthis. So what's Donald Trump doing this morning as he's crashing out? Well, Donald Trump is now threatening to have ICE do airport security. That's right. This is Donald Trump's focus this morning. Donald Trump posted the following. If the radical left Democrats don't immediately sign an agreement to let our country, in particular our airports, be free and safe again, I will move our brilliant and patriotic ICE agents to the airports where they will do security like no one has ever seen before, including the immediate arrest of all illegal immigrants who have come into our country, with a heavy emphasis on those from Somalia who have totally destroyed, with the approval of a corrupt governor, attorney general, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the once great state of Minnesota. I look forward to seeing ICE in action at our airports. Make America great again, folks. We have a demented lunatic right now in the Oval Office, although he's actually vacationing in.
A deluded. This is crazy. Why would we have ICE at the airports terrorizing people when they get on and off a plane? Does that make sense to you guys? Why in the heck would Donald Trump make it hard for us to get in and out of the plane? Like it would be hell on earth. Imagine ICE at the airport. Oh, the nerve of the thought of it all.
Mar-a-Lago on the taxpayer dime as war rages in the Middle East caused by Donald Trump's unlawful invasion of Iran. As Donald Trump has destroyed the United States economy, has destroyed generationally the economies of many Arab nations. And as Iran and Russia are the main beneficiaries of this, as well as China, Donald Trump is talking about invading airports with ICE right now and putting out this completely deranged and incoherent statement about Democrats not letting airports be free and safe again. Do y'all remember when Donald Trump posted this all of the time, but like when he posted on August 5th, 2024, stock markets are crashing, job numbers are terrible, we are heading to World War III, and we have two of the most incompetent leaders in history. This is not good. It was always projection and confession with these MAGAs. It's precisely what is actually happening right now in the United States. You all know that this past week, the markets were absolutely crashing. You know that gold, which is usually a safe haven during these times, gold was crashing. You have Donald Trump's brilliant decision, and I'm being sarcastic, of course, is let's remove oil sanctions on Iran. Let's remove oil sanctions on Russia. As Danny Citronix, who does a good job reporting on this region, as he explained and told NBC News and others. So now Donald Trump, the U.S., is funding a war against itself. What we are seeing is a really flawed campaign, not in terms of just operational size, but from the strategic preparation for the campaign itself. The oil price is becoming much more important than eliminating this regime in Iran. Everybody knows that as long as Iran is controlling the straits, nothing will change in terms of the ability to take out the oil. You cannot beat geography. And also, though, Iran realizes it can beat weakness. And it sees in Donald Trump someone who doesn't plan things, someone who doesn't think things through, somebody who reacts very emotionally, someone who potentially has dementia. So, in my opinion, I'm giving my First Amendment speech opinion, someone who is completely deranged. And just, look what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. You literally have Iran establishing a lucrative business right now, not just in terms of Trump removing the oil sanctions there, but a business in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is planning to enshrine a new status, Max Boot writes, for the Strait of Hormuz to require every passing ship to pay fees to Tehran for the privilege. Expediency Council member Mohammed Makhbar, an advisor to the Supreme Leader in Economic Affairs, told the Mehr news agency, "We're setting up a business now. We have such control over the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to make people pay the money, and we're going to basically create the biggest toll in the world." And countries are negotiating now on a bilateral basis to do just that. The Iranian Navy, for example, guiding an Indian tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian Navy guided an Indian liquefied petroleum gas tanker through the Strait of Hormuz after a diplomatic engagement with New Delhi, allowing the ship to pass on a pre-approved route. And look, you have Prime Minister Modi of India saying, "I spoke with President Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian," that's the Iranian president. "I wished him greetings. We condemn the attacks on critical infrastructure in the region, which threaten regional stability and disrupt global supply chain. We reiterated the importance of safeguarding freedom of navigation and ensuring that shipping lanes remain open and scarce." So if there was some desire to alienate and isolate Iran, quite the contrary is happening. Trump is alienating and isolating the United States even more than when Donald Trump did tariffs against the world. And Donald Trump is promoting Iran right now. Take a look at this update as well. This from the Japan Wire, the Kyoto News. Iran ready to help passage of Japan ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign Minister Aragchi says, so Iran's foreign minister says, "Hey, Iran." Iran's foreign minister says, "Hey, Japan, we saw that really embarrassing Prime Minister Takaishi Oval Office state visit where she shamed the Japanese people, where she wouldn't stand up to Donald Trump when he was making Pearl Harbor jokes, where she was laughing at the auto pen photos that Donald Trump did because Donald Trump behaves worse than some of the worst."
Laughing at Donald Trump say something about Pearl Harbor in front of the Prime Minister of Japan, and then also say, "As those your people." We watched it yesterday. Very, very disrespectful.
Behave 5-year-olds out there, and no offense to badly behaving 5-year-olds. Seriously, the Japanese people right now are livid. I'm going to do a whole video on this. They are livid at Prime Minister Takaishi, bringing such shame to the people after that disastrous visit with Donald Trump. But what did they get out of it? What happened out of it other than Donald Trump mocking the Japanese people? So Iran saw that, and Iran says, look, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said Tehran is ready to facilitate the passage of Japanese vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, and that negotiations with Japan on the issues are ongoing. Just saying it right there. And just think about it this way. This is how FedWatch describes it. If India's tanker passage program is successful, other countries may follow India's example. India, then Japan, then who else? The only way crude price volatility cools off is if there is a decisive winner in this war, which is increasingly looking like Iran will be the winner of this war. And that's what we're seeing now. By the way, I mentioned Japan for a moment. So the Trump regime has been posting these photos of Prime Minister Takaishi and like making her look like, well, let's just say not the most flattering photos. This is the White House photo of it. Takaishi delivers remarks in the state dining room. This is the photo they chose to use. And here are the other photos. As this one account says, the White House photographers got to be doing it on purpose. They wanted to put the Japanese through a humiliation ritual. That's what was going on there. Oh, and folks, while all of this is going on, guess what the MAGA Republicans are doing? They're actually seeing that there's an emergency today. Wow, right? They're actually working over the weekend, folks. Can you believe this? So the MAGA Republican senators have declared that there are emergencies taking place that need to be dealt with right now. Okay, what's the emergency that you are all at the Senate now? Is it to make sure that Donald Trump gets authorization if he wants to have an unlawful war, and that you will block him from doing this unlawful war? Is that your plan right here? Are you there to block Donald Trump's tariffs against the world or Donald Trump's other authoritarian tactics to stop this unlawful and disgusting war? Is that why emergency on Capitol Hill, right? Oh, no, that's not why you're there. You're there to talk about trans sports issues. That's what they're doing today, because Donald Trump thinks that the American people are so dumb that he wants to create a culture war issue and talk about, oh, men and women's sports, so he can mock the trans community, so he can mock marginalized communities to try to divide us while he covers up a child sex trafficking ring, the Epstein files, and while he's engaged in this unlawful war. I kid you not, this happened moments ago when the MAGA Republican senators declared that there was an emergency. They had to discuss this. Here, play this clip.
The issue with respect to biological males competing in women's sports and transgender surgeries for minors, those are also issues that are overwhelmingly supported by the American people, and issues on which there is legislation up here, broad support among certainly our caucus on both of those issues.
And then you had Sean Duffy from the Real World Road Rules Challenge, who's Donald Trump's transportation secretary. He went on Fox this morning, and here's what he had to say. Play this clip.
At what point, what makes you think that the masks is where the negotiation ends? And so the point is, do they really want to deal? Right. That's what we're asking. And I think the point is, the base is so angry at Trump, they have Trump derangement syndrome, that no matter what the proposal is, they want to make sure that the people, the 15 million people that were let in, even the bad hombres, they want to leave them here. Don't deport them. They want them part of their communities. If they commit crimes, they want to let them out onto the streets to commit more crimes against the American people. I mean, that's a radical position, or at least the base has that position. And Democrats in Congress are forced to hold that line, which again is anti-American and anti-common sense.
And folks, Saudi Arabia is saying over the past 24 hours, there have been 80 drone strikes in Saudi Arabia, or attempted drone strikes in Saudi Arabia. So Iran doesn't show any time or any sense of slowing down soon. Should also be noted as well, Qatar's CEO interview in the past 24, 48 hours with Reuters was basically described as what's just taken place over the past 20 plus days has set us back about 20 years. He warned that, he said, we've been trying to warn the U.S. Energy Secretary and everybody daily that what's happening now with Qatari Energy, with the other facilities across the Middle East, was going to happen, that everybody ignored him, that nobody in the U.S. gave warnings about any of this. And, and now Qatar and all these Arab nations that thought they were doing pay for play with Donald Trump. Well, you did do pay for play. You all got played, because Donald Trump is a con artist who has conned people his entire life. And then when his back's against the rope, he shows what a sociopath he is. He does the threats. Oh, I'm going to invade your airports with ICE, or I'm going to come after you, or please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. He's been a pathetic freaking loser his entire life who's bankrupted everything he's touched because he's a loser, and he surrounds himself with losers. That's why he bankrupted. It's not even about politics. This guy is a freaking loser. Get it through your heads. And you want to know one of the big loser qualities that's happening right now that's not getting enough attention at all? And this is why it's a loser quality. There's a massive disaster taking place in Hawaii right now. And where's FEMA? Where's Donald Trump talking about that? Where are the Republicans talking about that? Hawaii is experiencing its worst flooding in 20 years right now, okay? And do you even know that's happening? Okay, it's devastating there. This would be normally, rather than engaging in these ridiculous wars against the world that Donald Trump wants to do, trade wars, all things, we'd be helping America right now, not Donald Trump, not this despicable regime. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. You may think you're subscribed, but you may not actually be subscribed. So hit subscribe right now. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
New Midas merch drop. Check out the latest Pro Democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more.
Thank you, Midas.
Regarding Andrew, I think he should be treated like everybody else. If this was like your next door neighbor,
got going on before we move on. So we got to get to the Mimi show. I think we just saw this.
Donald Trump is panicking as his disastrous and unlawful war in Iran continues to escalate. Donald Trump is now preparing to deploy elements of the 82nd Airborne Division into the Middle East. Now, this follows Donald Trump deploying the USS Boxer Amphibious Ready Group and 2,500 Marines from the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit as well. So we have the USS Boxer, the USS Portland, the USS Comstock departing San Diego in the past.
We got here a week and a half ago. Good afternoon, everybody. Seems like most of you guys are here. And thank you for taking the time. Let me get started. So throughout his entire career in business, reality TV, and politics, Donald Trump has had one and only one play: bullying his opponents into silence. He did it as a failed casino owner who bankrupted his properties and screwed over his contractors. He did it as a reality TV host known for firing people. And he's done it as president who tries every day to intimidate people with no regards for the rights or well-being of the American people. I'll say this for the guy: while he's never seemed to do much else right for most of Donald Trump's career, bullying people has worked out for him. But not now.
He's a bully.
Because I won't let it happen.
Uh-oh.
The American people won't let it happen. President Trump is trying to silence me, threatening to kill me for saying what is true. And he sent his Secretary of Defense after me. And it's not going to work. Here's how we got here. A week and a half ago, Senator Slotkin and I, along with others who also served in the military and intelligence communities, we released a video with a simple message to service members that they must refuse illegal orders. Nothing was controversial about that. Everyone must follow the law. No one may break the law. This is pretty basic stuff. Seeing that video, here's how any other president would have responded. They would have said 2 words: of course. But that's not how this president responded. We become so accustomed to Donald Trump's behavior that it is worth emphasizing. The President of the United States said that 2 U.S. senators and 4 members of the House of Representatives should be arrested, hanged, executed for something we said, for something that is true. My family
It's Lady Letitia. Letitia. Lady Letitia.
Sorry, I was on mute. How in the world are we going to have a president that goes around talking about unaliving and stupid stuff, threatening people, hanging them? What kind of president is that? What kind of president threatens to hang you? How is that possible? He is beyond presidential. There's nothing presidential about this president. That's right, Danny.
knows the cost of political violence. My wife, Gabby, was shot in the head and nearly died while speaking with her constituents. The president should understand this too. He has been the target of political violence himself. The Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives, Melissa Hortman, and her husband were murdered in their home this year.
Oh, wow.
The governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, had his house firebombed this year. Then Charlie Kirk was assassinated at Utah Valley University, a place I visited just a few weeks ago with Republican Senator John Curtis. Faced with a wave like this, every other president we have ever had in the history of this nation would have tried to heal the country.
Heal the country.
But we all know Donald Trump.
When we're in grieving, when we're sad, when we're mad, we're going through, we're depressed, we're not doing too good, Donald Trump, you were supposed to give us hope. But you don't. You don't give us hope.
He uses every single opportunity to divide us.
To divide.
And that's dangerous. The president's words carry tremendous weight.
It is extremely dangerous. It is extremely dangerous. And his words does carry weight because he is the president of the United States. But he's going around saying things that are untrue. He's going around saying things that are not true. And we're supposed to trust him.
People listen to him. And he knows that. And that's exactly why he does what he does.
Yep.
He makes these threats to silence people. And if that doesn't work, he abuses his power to intimidate people.
Abuse.
And with the consent of Republicans in the United States Senate, he has surrounded himself with people like the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who will do whatever he says.
Yep.
With no
Whatever
question,
he says,
no matter what.
No questions.
Trump and Hegseth, they care more about publicity than they do about the rule of law.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I ended up finding out via a tweet that the Secretary of Defense was ordering an investigation into me. The same Secretary of Defense who has, from the moment he was nominated, has been historically unqualified for this position. The same Secretary of Defense who is reported to have ordered a second strike to kill shipwreck survivors in the Caribbean. If there is anyone who needs to answer questions in public and under oath, it is Pete Hegseth. It's a dangerous moment for the United States of America when the president and his loyalists use every lever of power to silence United States senators for speaking up. But we all know that this isn't about me, and it's not about the others in that video. They're trying to send a message to retired service members, to government employees, to members of the military, to elected officials, and to all Americans who are thinking about speaking up. You better keep your mouth shut or else. This has been a singular focus of President Trump's second term. Not addressing costs, not creating jobs, intimidating people, and going after the people he views as his political opponents.
Oh, somebody got there.
He's done it to companies. You better write a check to build my ballroom,
When is Easter?
or I might not approve your merger.
When
He's
is
done it with
Easter,
universities. You
guys?
better fire your president, or I'll pull your research funding. He's even done it to late night hosts. You better not make jokes that I do not like, or I'll get you taken off the air, and I'm going to take your company's broadcast license. And he does it every week with Republicans in the House and the Senate. You better toe the party line, or I'll make sure you never get reelected. Folks, this comes at a cost. And not only to American companies, colleges, and comedians. It damages every American's freedom of speech and the balance of powers that form the foundation of our democracy. Because when Republicans in Congress are too afraid to disagree with this president, it means that his bad ideas go unchallenged. He has slapped reckless tariffs on countries across the globe, skyrocketing the cost of everything from groceries to school supplies. Republicans historically, well, at least a year ago, they hated tariffs. But when it comes to voting to undo them, they are too afraid of Donald Trump. So Americans pay more for just about everything because of spineless politicians. It's the same with healthcare costs. There are Republicans in the House and the Senate who really want to do something to prevent these healthcare premiums from spiking for millions of Americans.
Healthcare premiums.
The solutions are simple. But President Trump says he doesn't want to. So nothing happens.
So nothing
happens.
except
A government shutdown. It goes on and on. The president has gone too far.
It's gone too far.
Everybody needs to wake up.
Wake up.
The occupant of the Oval Office is ignorant to the Constitution and has no regard for the rule of law.
The rule of law.
Trying to silence me, in proposing to court-martial me, in threatening to kill me for fighting back when our democracy demands that we must fight back.
Threatening to kill
President
another
Trump has crossed the
politician.
line. And this time, it's not going to work. I will not be intimidated by this
Not
president.
going to be intimidated.
I am not going to be silenced by this president or the people around him, because I've given too much in service to this country to back down to this guy. In 1991, when Donald Trump was driving the Taj Mahal casino into bankruptcy, I was getting shot at over Iraq and Kuwait. In 2001, after Donald Trump said that the collapse of the Twin Towers meant he now owned the tallest skyscraper in Manhattan, I was carrying flags honoring 9/11 victims into space on a rocket ship. In 2003, when Donald Trump was writing birthday greetings to the monster Jeffrey Epstein, I was the first on the scene to recover the bodies of my fellow astronauts who died when Space Shuttle Columbia exploded during re-entry. In 2011,
that was sad.
When Trump was hosting a reality show and peddling conspiracy theories against President Barack Obama, I was sitting next to my wife's hospital bed as she recovered from a gunshot wound to the head.
Oh, wow.
My point is this. I've been through a lot worse in service to my country. The president and Pete Hegseth are not going to silence me. They aren't going to keep me from speaking out. And they're not going to keep me from doing my job. Enough of the bullying, enough of the intimidation, enough of the threats, enough of your nonsense.
Enough of it.
Doesn't help anyone in our country afford their groceries or pay their medical bills. And it erodes the rights of every American. My job is to fight for them, to stand up for the Constitution, and nothing is going to stop me from doing my job. Thank you, and I'll take some questions. Hold on a second. Give that further. Just sit this down here. Can you, I know it's Manu from CNN, but for everybody, just.
Donald Trump just crashed out on the White House lawn. He held an impromptu press conference on the disastrous war in Iran. And folks, this press conference was utterly humiliating. This follows the ultimatum by Vladimir Putin to Donald Trump that if the United States stopped helping Ukraine, then Putin said that he would stop helping Iran target American troops. And this is what Donald Trump did. He goes out on the White House lawn and he starts talking about ground troop deployments on the Karg Island in the northern Persian Gulf, which is part of Iran. We know that we have thousands of troops that are moving there, Marine expeditionary units. And Donald Trump says, well, because I have 100% support right now, then I think that, that's all that matters. What do you mean you have 100% support? What in the Kim Jong-un hell is this? Here, play this clip.
Polls have shown that MAGA is essentially unified behind you, as are Republicans when it comes to Iran. There's been reports that, the United States might be sending 2,500 Marines to the Middle East. Are you concerned that a move like that could potentially change the unity?
Well, I don't know. I seem to have great support because CNN came out with a poll today that I'm at 100%. And they said they've never seen a poll like that. The CNN poll said I'm at 100%, and they've never seen that before, which is an honor. I was impressed that CNN would do that. But as far as troops are concerned, I can't tell you what we're doing. Mr. President.
Then, as part of Donald Trump's White House lawn crash out, Donald Trump says about the Strait of Hormuz that at some point It will just open itself. We don't even have to worry about it. Like a miracle, it's all going to go away, folks. It'll just like a miracle. Doesn't this sound exactly like what he would say during COVID? Here, let's play this clip.
It's a simple military maneuver. It's relatively safe, but you need a lot of help in the sense of you need ships, you need volume. And NATO could help us, but they so far haven't had the courage to do so. And others could help us, but, we don't use it. At a certain point, it'll open itself at a certain point. But we've defeated the enemy, and they are an enemy. They're a sick group of people. The leadership is gone. The Navy is gone. The Air Force is gone. The anti-aircraft equipment that they have, the radar they have is all gone. Everything's gone. The strait itself, the actual strait, how are you? The strait itself is, we're doing a good job. But it would be nice if the countries, including China, if the countries that use it, China uses it 90% of their energy. Japan is 95% of the energy. It would be nice if those countries would get involved.
Then regarding the incredibly high gas prices right now, right now the pain that people in America and frankly across the world are feeling. Donald Trump says, actually, I thought the prices were going to be way worse. So this is actually good. He says, this is really good. I expected worse. Things are going to be great. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything. Here, play this clip.
We're not giving a nuclear weapon to terrorists, and we're knocking the hell out of them. Their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their leaders are gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. Everything's gone. And no, I expected worse. I really thought that oil prices would go much higher when I did that. We have set every record in the book. With Dow, with the S&P, Dow hit 50,000, S&P hit 8,000, 7,000 at levels, at speed like nobody's ever seen before. But I said I have to go off with that path and I have to take a little journey. We have to get these, and he would agree, but he's not going to say it. This is not safe, not safe. What he's doing with that time. But we had to go off on a circuitous path and get their business, and we are in the process of doing it. And I'll tell you, I think we're weeks ahead of schedule. My Secretary of State is very happy. Do you have a question for Marco? Yes.
Then Donald Trump says, look, at the end of the day, the war's been won. We've won this thing. America defeated Iran. So what are we even talking about here? This as Iran continues to have the ability to strike its Arab nation neighbors where there's American military presence. This as every time the U.S. and Israel engage in a strike, Iran is able to very quickly retaliate. We know Iran struck down an F-35, and we know they control the Strait of Hormuz right now, and there's nothing the United States seemingly can do. But here's what he says. Let's play it.
Militarily won in Iran? What did you mean by that? He said the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that? Oh, I think we won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free. From a military standpoint, all they're doing is clogging up the strait. But from a military standpoint, they're finished. So how much longer do
Then Donald Trump says, look, I don't want a ceasefire at all. I'm not even looking for a ceasefire, because why would you need a ceasefire when you totally obliterate the other side? He goes, they've been obliterated. I mean, the ranting and ravings of an absolute lunatic right here. What do you mean? They have, if anything, more capabilities right now than they did before. Sure, you hit some of their Navy and you hit some of their traditional military infrastructure. You also hit a lot of their kind of dummy infrastructure that they made it look like by using chalk or military assets. But Iran, if anything, is more extreme and has more influence in the region now. And we see that with their control of the Strait of Hormuz. So what are you talking about? Let's play this clip.
Calling for a ceasefire in the Middle East and to reopen dialogue. Would you say that?
Well, look, we can have dialogue, but I don't want to do a ceasefire. You don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side. They don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. They don't have any equipment. They don't have any spotters. They don't have anti-aircraft. They don't have radar. And their leaders have all been killed at every level. We're not looking to do that.
Then Donald Trump is asked, well, what's your plan for the Karg Island? Like, do you have a plan? And Donald Trump's like, maybe, maybe not. But why would I tell that to a reporter? Look, the American people deserve to know what the hell is going on, period, right? Are we sending a ground troop invasion into the Karg Island? Are you going to make matters even more horrific than they already are? But here, play this clip.
How will they operate? Well, I may have a plan or I may not, but how would I ever say that to a reporter? If I said that to a reporter, Marco would say, please, sir, let's bring you over to the helicopter immediately, right? No, I can't tell you that.
Then a reporter wants clarification. So what do you mean when you say the war's been won? That doesn't make any sense to anybody. The war clearly has not been won. If anything, it's worse. So what are you talking about? Let's play this clip of what Donald Trump.
What does he mean we won the war? It's over. He's obliviated everything. Their military, their everything. their airships, their ships, we've decimated them. Well, if we've won all this whole war, why are we sending ground troops? Why am I reading everywhere that we're sending ground troops? You don't usually tell your enemy your plan. That is true, Pat. I agree with you.
Said.
We're making a lot of progress.
You said that the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that? You said the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free. From a military standpoint, all they're doing is clogging up the strait. But from a military standpoint, they're finished. So how much longer?
So, Donald, do you plan to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz with or without allies? So what are you going to be doing here? Let's play this clip.
And do you plan to escort those ships through the Strait of Hormuz with or without allies?
We're doing very well there. We're doing very well overall. We don't use the strait. We don't. The United States. We don't need it. Europe needs it. Korea, Japan, China, a lot of other people. So they'll have to get involved a little bit on that one.
And feeble-minded, demented Donald Trump is like, well, why isn't China helping? Well, because China's not your ally, idiot. The same way Russia isn't your ally, idiot. They are allied with Iran. Why do you think China would want to help the United States as the U.S. is essentially drowning right now in the Strait of Hormuz? Sure, this is causing pain to China, but China can work deals out with Iran to move their oil across the coastline through the Strait of Hormuz. They may have to pay a toll because Iran is charging tolls, maybe not. But where do you think Iran is getting a lot of its assets from? Right? What do you think is happening? You saw that clip right there. So next, I'll show you what Lindsey Graham, Donald Trump has asked about Lindsey Graham. So Lindsey Graham has asked you to reconsider these alliances and having military bases in Spain and Germany. What do you say, Donald? Here, play this clip.
In Europe, Lindsey Graham has asked for you to reconsider the American bases in Spain, in Germany, after what they have done in the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, it deserves. He's right about asking that, and I think NATO's gone down a long way because they haven't. I mean, they should be helping with the Strait. They get much of their energy from the Strait of Hormuz, and if Lindsey Graham said that, and don't forget, he was a big NATO guy for a while, and now he's not. And a lot of senators and congressmen, they're very upset with the fact that NATO has done nothing.
Right. So Donald Trump's been spending the whole day, starting in the morning, attacking our NATO allies. And, he said NATO's a bunch of cowards. And then his regime has been praising Putin. Here, we have this clip of his Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, from earlier today, saying that Donald Trump identifies more with Russia and Russia-affiliated countries. This is Donald Trump's, Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum. Earlier, he had Doug Wright. He had Energy Secretary Wright. Here's Doug Burgum, though, saying that America is closer with Russia. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. Let's play it.
That our orientation in terms of our alliances is changing.
Well, clearly it is. What we might consider our traditional allies from Europe have been less than reliable. And from the time that we've spent working with those folks in Eastern Europe, the closer they are to Russia, the more aligned they are with President Trump and the more they aligned they are on energy policy.
Then Donald Trump, though, before that, was talking about how, for this act that he wants to do about voting, he needs Democratic votes and, voter ID and no men, women's sports, or whatever the hell he's talking about. And then he starts talking about his ballroom and how much he loves his ballroom. It's really demented.
Transgender thing with mutilization of your children, all of the things that we talk about. We added two little elements. No men in women's sports, right? You know that. We added that. And when you add them all up, whether you take 4 or 5, I think they're all 95 to 99% issues. I hear it's going, look, it should be an easy pass, but we need Democrat votes. They don't want to approve voter ID because they cheat. They don't want to approve citizenship. In other words, we want to have citizenship in order to vote. You have to prove your citizenship. The Democrats don't want to do that. You know why? Because they want to cheat, Peter. Now, speaking of something that's for pleasure, it'll be the greatest goal anywhere in the world. Nothing like it. And they just started today one of the biggest wars of concrete that's ever been seen in Washington.
Then you have Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, talking.
For pleasure. It'll be the greatest goal anywhere in the world. Nothing like it. And they just started today one of the biggest wars of concrete that's ever been seen in Washington.
Then you have Doug Burgum, the.
They want to cheat, Peter. Now, speaking of something that's for pleasure, This would be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. Nothing.
Ballroom. Donald Trump is talking about his ballroom, and we're at war. The gas prices are going up, and people don't have it's unbelievable. They don't have Medicaid, idiot. They don't have Medicaid, Donald Trump. They don't have food stamps. And you're talking about a ballroom. A stupid ballroom. Oh, thank you, Maureen. I'm so glad to have you here. Hi, John. Hello, Drifty. I don't think the room is too big for his balls. Maureen. Can you believe it? He's talking about his ballroom. His ballroom, and there's a war going on. What kind of... He is not thinking about nobody but himself. The selfishness of it all. OMG, this president is not dealing with all cylinders. He's not dealing with all cylinders. Look, does this make sense to you? He's talking about his ballroom. We're at war. We're having economy issues. And he's talking about war. All in the same breath. Talking about deploying troops. Keep talking about your ballroom, Donald Trump. Keep talking about your ballroom. It's all about you.
Like it. And they just started today one of the biggest wars of concrete that's ever been seen in Washington.
Then you have Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, talking about how right now we have the lowest energy prices in the world, and we should be saying thank you to Donald Trump. So everybody who's suffering right now, they want us to say thank you.
Everybody that's suffering and can't get gas and got to stay at home this weekend because they got to save on gas because they got to feed their kids too. And he wants us to thank him. Donald Trump wants us to thank him. Thank you, Donald Trump, for the ballroom. Thank you for this war. Thank you for the oil prices. Thank you for what's going on, Donald Trump. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you Delulu? Hello, DeLove. Hello, Downlove. All right, Judy. Downlove. That's right. He's talking about his ballroom, honey. How they just did a whole bunch of concrete, and he's never seen that much concrete before. Yeah, we're paying for that. And we're paying for this war. Renaming institutions after himself. The ballroom and burn the whole world before he goes. The ego. Bellroom. The press asked him about it. Yeah, but it's such a carnal thing to want a ballroom while we need so much more stuff. No, Drifty. There was taxpayers were paying for some of that, not all of it. Not all of it. Keep emotions from your family. Biden didn't fall off the bike. The bike tripped. Okay. Let's continue.
Thank you for giving us the lowest energy prices. I mean, these are the most vile people. Huh? Let's play this clip.
President Trump, 180 degrees different. American-made U.S. energy, affordability for Americans, and energy security, and then the ability right now for the U.S. to be in a position where we've got the lowest energy prices in the world right now because of President Trump.
That's such a
And then
lie.
Doug Burgum, Donald Trump's Interior Secretary, wants everybody to know that everything is working as planned. This is exactly what we've.
Energy, affordability for Americans, and energy security, and then the ability right now for the U.S. to be in a position where we've got the lowest energy prices in the world right now because of President Trump.
And then Doug Burgum, Donald Trump's Interior Secretary, wants everybody to know that everything is working as planned. This is exactly what we've all wanted. And America's never been stronger. We're building up our alliances like never before. Here, play this clip.
Energy, they want to buy energy from the United States. It's 8 days by ship from LNG, for example, from Anchorage to Tokyo versus 30 days if it even gets there from the Middle East. People are desperate to have a stronger relationship with the United States right now on energy. President Trump's policy is absolutely working to build alliances around the world.
Yeah, the alliance seems to be the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states. Japan has a good relationship with us as well right now, and a lot of repair needed in Europe. Secretary Burgum.
Wow, that's so utterly pathetic. Let me all know what you think. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. You may think you're subscribed, but you may not actually be subscribed. So just double check and help us get to 7 million. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from
the Speaker of the House, little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, who cannot shut up about how close he is with God and how close he is with Jesus and the sanctity of life and pro-America. And we just want to love America. Lord, just lift us up. Jesus, lift us up to love America. Just will not shut up with that kind of talk. These are very serious things that are happening right now. People are dying all over with our taxpayer dollars, while Americans are dying because they don't have health care or because of abject poverty, because a little Grinder will not advocate for meeting the suffering and standing against the grotesque accumulation of wealth. No, he's always shilling for the billionaires and he's always shilling for the killers. And right now, Benjamin Netanyahu said, we're going to have boots on the ground. Donald Trump keeps whispering, we're going to have some boots on the ground. Well, surely the pro-life, pro-Jesus, pro-God, I'm Mr. BFFs with God. God wakes him up in the middle of the night and says, hey, wake up, little buddy. You're Moses. And he goes, oh my God, I'm Moses. I'm going to do God's work in the house. What does he do? Play the clip.
There are ground troops. Should they come to Congress first if there are ground troops?
Again, all the details matter. If we're completing the mission and it's a limited scope, then that's not a declaration of war.
It's always been a lie. These people never, ever, ever fight for life, ever. He's going to allow the president to go around Congress to send American troops on the ground for fucking what? Because Benjamin Netanyahu wants to balkanize Iran. He wants the whole area balkanized. They're already completely decimating Beirut. They've already genocided Gaza. And now he's moving on. And he cannot do this without the United States of America and a Speaker of the House that will bend the knee to worship this death cult. And it has completely exposed the Republican Party for the lying liars, decade-long full of lies. We're so good with the economy. We're so fiscally conservative. We're all about America. We love the troops. It's all bullshit. They've been lying to you for decades.
Mike Johnson is worthless as tits on a boar hog. But here's something that I have heard when asked about what's going on in Iran. That is illegal. That is a war. He dances around it. And he says, well, if we need to complete the mission, that's the justification. What is the mission? What is the mission? The American people have never been told what the mission is. And then you have him saying, it's not a war. I don't give a shit if you call it a war, an excursion, a play date. People are dying. Little girls in Iran are dying. People in Lebanon are dying. United States troops are dying. This is absolutely him being the weak fucking coward that he is. And I just want to scream, Jennifer.
Yeah, and it's important that within the Christian movement, a lot of times people go, well, they're not real Christians. Just like within the American culture, people on the right will say, oh, well, you're not a real American. And the thing is, you have to take people at their word. And this is something where people within the Christian faith need to deal with this firsthand. And they need to have louder voices that advocate for the marginalized within that religion. Because when you allow the most diabolical, loudest,
something that also needs to be addressed is what the reality is in regard to the damage Iran has managed to do to US military installations in the Middle East. They've bombed every single US base in the Gulf region. In fact, the first order of business for the Iranians was to take out our radar systems at these bases. And those radar systems give our soldiers early warning.
The Speaker of the House, little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, who cannot shut up about how close he is with God and how close he is with Jesus and the sanctity.
The Trump administration coming up with some outside of the box ideas in order to deal with the ongoing partial government shutdown and, of course, the lapse in pay for TSA officers. President Trump posting this within the past hour, saying the radical left Democrats have hurt so many people with their vicious and uncaring ways. What they have done to the Department of Homeland Security, our fantastic TSA officers, and most importantly, the great people of our country, is an absolute disgrace. The Democrats do not allow for just and proper security at our airports and elsewhere throughout our country. ICE will do the job far better than ever done before. The fascist Democrats will never protect America, but the Republicans will. Just like the radical left allowed millions of criminals to pour into our country through their ridiculous and dangerous open border policy. The Republicans closed it all down, and we now have the strongest border in American history. Likewise, I look forward to moving ICE in on Monday and have already told them to get ready.
Robert Mueller?
No more games, the president says. So,
Robert Mueller?
Just pretty much hearing that ICE now being considered to help staff TSA operations. Some images from the past week or so as lines at airports have been causing headaches in some cases. The warning from Trump comes after the Senate failed again on Friday to advance a measure to end the funding lapse, with Democrats insisting counteroffers from the White House, which have included some concessions, are insufficient. We'll continue to track this story.
You need your highly sensitive.
On Monday, we're going to be looking to perhaps move ICE in to some of those jobs. So we'll be watching closely at the beginning of this week to see how exactly this shakes out.
Marco Rubio.
Live look at the Capitol on this Saturday afternoon, just past 2:30 in the afternoon in D.C. We, of course, have been tracking Congress's movement.
All this propaganda.
Live on the floor right now, talking about the save.
They're talking about Trump considers sending ICE to airports as shutdown leaves TSA without pay, causing staff shortage. There's something going on at the airport, okay? Robert Mueller dead at 81. Oh, that's sad. Remember Mueller, babe? Robert Mueller? He died.
We do want to bring you some breaking news here online now from Fox. We just got this confirmed according to the Associated Press. You may recognize this face here. This is Robert Mueller III. He's now been announced dead at the age of 81. And so this information just coming into our newsroom a short time ago. Robert Mueller III, though, was the FBI director who transformed the nation's premier law enforcement agency into a terrorism fighting force. This came after the September 11th, 2001 attacks. He later became a special counsel in charge of investigating ties between Russia and President Trump's presidential campaign. He has now died at the age of 81. His family has released a statement saying this: "With deep sadness, we are sharing the news that Bob passed away. His family now asks that their privacy be respected." At the FBI, Mueller set out almost immediately, overhauling the Bureau's mission to meet the law enforcement needs of the 21st century, beginning his 12-year tenure just 1 week before the September 11th attacks. He ended up serving across several presidents of both political parties. He was nominated by Republican President George W. Bush. Of course, we do know that cataclysmic event of September 11th eventually switched the Bureau's top priority from solving domestic crime to preventing terrorism, a shift that imposed almost impossibly difficult standard on Mueller and the rest of the federal government, preventing 99 out of 100 terrorist plots, saying that wasn't good enough. Later, though, he did act as the special counsel in the Justice Department investigation into whether the Trump campaign illegally coordinated with Russia to sway the outcome of the 2016 presidential race. We do also know that President Trump has also spoken out on his social media as well. President Trump saying this, quote, "Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's gone. The Republican president then added he can no longer hurt innocent people. We do know at this time that
Oh my God. That's our president of the United States of America. He's supposed to be bringing the country together when something sad like this happens. He's supposed to be impartial. He says, I'm glad he's gone. Did you hear that, DeLove? I'm glad he's gone. Donald Trump said, I'm glad he's gone. How can anybody think that this is a good guy? How can Debbie sit around and think that Donald Trump is not this crass embarrassment of a human being? He's a sickadoo. He's an idiot. And all she does is protect him, deflect for him, pretend like he's doing nothing wrong. He's a great guy, and he's not. He just said he was glad Mueller was dead. Who says that?
We do know at this time that that not only the president, I'm going to put up this live vantage point that we have there of the White House. The president put that statement out on social media, but also the FBI at this time has not officially said anything, and the president then added he can no longer hurt innocent people. President Trump has also spoken out on his social media as well. President Trump saying this, quote, Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's gone. The Republican president then added he can no longer hurt innocent people. We do know at this saying this, quote, Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's gone. The Republican president then added he can no longer.
He is the most insane, inconsiderate, nasty, disgusting, despicable president I have ever known in my life. I'm glad Mueller's gone. Now he can't hurt anybody anymore. Who is he hurting? You're just mad at Mueller, Robert Mueller, because he found you guilty with the connecting with the Russians during our election. Oh my God, this is so. Put a 1 in the chat if this is not presidential. Put a 1 in the chat if Donald Trump is off. Where my ones at? Where my ones at? Off. Let's continue.
Or hurt innocent people. We do know at this time that that not only the president, I'm going to put up this live vantage point that we have there.
He said he's glad Mueller is dead.
Of the White House. The president put that statement out on social media, but also the FBI at this time has not officially said anything in response to any comment that was put out by once the Associated Press has asked. But this is a statement on Truth Social from President Trump on Robert Mueller. Wanted to make sure we're able to bring you that breaking update here on Live Now from Fox.
It's breaking news just into our newsroom. MS Now has now learned former special counsel Robert Mueller has died. MS Now investigative reporter Carol Leonnig has the details. She is now on the phone with us. Carol, what can you tell us?
Robert Mueller, who was suffering from Parkinson's disease in the last year or two, and the former FBI director and, iconic representative of the FBI, also the former special counsel into Russian interference into the 2016 presidential election, has died. That's about all we know at the moment. We knew that he was ill and had been ill for a while, living in a senior living center outside Charlottesville, Virginia. And so this is not entirely unexpected, but it's very sad for the FBI family that looked up to him and really revered his service to the U.S. government and to the American people.
How significant is this loss, and what kind of central role, just remind the public of the central role Robert Mueller played in that investigation in 2016?
So Robert Mueller was a career public servant to his core. He started as a young man in the military, then became a prosecutor, and eventually became the director of the FBI. He is probably best known for the fact that he was the FBI director on 9/11. He had just taken office, just been appointed by George W. Bush, and he, remember, tenure for that job normally. And he went about this incredible reformation of the FBI, and along with the Department of Justice, to ensure that information about terror plots were shared between the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the intelligence community, to be sure that the FBI was intercepting terror plots before they unfolded, not waiting to charge people, but to stop them, because 9/11 was viewed as a intelligence failure. That is probably what he's best known for, but he's also, of course, quite famous for his rigorous and careful investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which Donald Trump blamed him for. I'm sorry, I'm going to lose you, but Donald Trump blamed him as a individual who weaponized the department against him. And I'm sorry, I'm going to lose you right about here. So sorry.
Okay, Carol Leonnig, thank you so much.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to show you. Justin Timberlake has been arrested.
The Justin Timberlake body cam footage keeps trickling in, and the entitlement in this booking footage is pretty awful to watch. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. It's been a busy weekend. Lots of news breaking, lots of videos we're still taping for you guys. And I wanted to give you part 3 of Justin Timberlake's body cam footage. This part's also now just coming in. Sorry, they've been coming in pieces. It is feeling like his team got this police department to blur and tone down and release at the worst possible times for engagement. So kudos to them, but we always bring it to you no matter when. And here it is. Here he is getting booked at the police station.
Okay, so my partner here, I don't know the details, obviously. I wasn't going to stop you. My partner here observed you some kind of traffic violation, started a traffic stop, believed you have impairment, did a series of routine tests on you, right? Field sobriety tests, okay?
He's still so out of it. You can just see how inebriated he still is in that glared look.
Performed poorly on those, okay? Based off of his observations, you are intoxicated. Okay. So you were under arrest for DWI, okay?
He like didn't realize it until he's like, so you were intoxicated. Okay. Now you're arrested. Oh crap. It's like dude's in handcuffs and it just hit him. That's how slow he is.
Okay, awesome. All we're asking if you
At
understand.
least he didn't cry this time like he did on Punk'd.
What was referring to you?
Yeah, I hear you.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna reread this again. We're gonna go through the rest of it, but at this I got point, you. At this point, it asks for initials. If you don't want initial, you're not required to. You can't be forced to. And I will read the rest of it. Okay. Will you initial or no? No. Okay. No. I'll read the rest of it for you. Like, now, do you consent or refuse to the chemical test? no, I'm not doing the chemical test. Like, guys, I don't mean no harm. Like,
I don't know why it's blurred. Why they got it? They forced them to blur parts of it, which is also very strange. I'm not doing any harm. Dude, you almost did. Could have killed somebody.
Uh-oh.
So this is hard to watch.
I understand. We believe you to be under the influence of alcohol.
Okay.
And operating in motor vehicle, right?
okay, but I don't mean no harm.
I didn't say you did, right? Everyone makes a mistake or two in their life, right? You had too much to drink, you drove the car, right?
Okay.
It's whatever, you know. I'm not here to judge it. We got a job to do.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your understanding.
By the way, I appreciate that you're doing that.
I appreciate you, officer, so much. Please, can you undo these cuffs and let me go and throw all this away because I'm Justin Timberlake? You like sexy back, right?
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. What was the traffic violation I missed? I observed you. Just so I know.
He's still so just so I know.
I observed you found the fully stop sign, and then while you were driving, you failed to keep right on numerous occasions. So you're very Wait, start over? Sorry. So one more time.
Wait, start over? I wasn't listening to any of that. Sorry, go ahead, one more time. I'm totally not drunk.
You failed to stop at the stop sign, and then while you were operating the motor vehicle, you failed to keep right on your side of the roadway, and you continuously moved off to the left of the roadway.
Timberlake.
Okay, well, I was just following my friends. Okay.
Well, uncuff him, officers. He was just following his friends. Where were the friends he was following?
Yeah,
the girl was in the car with him alone. And where were these other friends?
I understand, but we are where we are right now, okay? You boys treat me like I'm a criminal.
You boys are treating me like I'm a criminal.
I don't want to say that because, I mean, you're being arrested, so for misdemeanor DWI, I don't have to call names, Mr. Timberlake, but which is the situation that we're in, unfortunately, okay? I'm trying my best to treat you like anybody else, okay?
Exactly. Treat him like anybody else.
Like
that is what we're supposed to do.
anybody
And kudos
else.
to these officers for doing that. He doesn't get special privilege. But look at that. Just, oh, he wants it so bad right now.
I appreciate your cooperation.
And to Justin's credit, I do. He even a drunk, whatever, he kept his cool. He could have lost it way worse. And given how protective he was being about this footage, I was expecting him to have his pants down and him just flipping out. And do you know who I am? And it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, man. A lot of people don't cooperate like this, so it goes a long way in my book. I appreciate it.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, happy to answer that I can.
Is this the normal process?
Yeah, everything is pretty standard. Nothing out of the ordinary. It is for everyone that gets arrested for DWI.
Yeah, there's no celebrity treatment here at the the cell. He's not accepting it. Look at him. He's smiling. Look at that smile. Really?
About it, you were wondering, or just
No. I just wondered, like you really cuff people up and like.
Yeah.
You really cuff people up at the police station when they're being booked? Yeah, bro. You're under arrest.
Yeah. I mean,
It's that serious.
You're in our custody. We have to make sure that that people who we lock up here don't leave. You know, you can't leave. We gotta process you, everything like that. Your safety, our safety, things like that. It's just standard protocol.
I appreciate you boys for doing your job, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Now he's piling it on real thick with the appreciation to the police force.
I appreciate that you understand that we gotta do
I
our thing.
appreciate you boys for doing your job. I had one martini and I follow my fucking friends home. And
Now he's dropping the F-bombs. Just follow my F and friends. But appreciate your jobs, but you guys are doing your jobs wrong, is what the implication I'm getting. Are you guys getting that too?
I appreciate you boys for doing your job. Yeah.
Catches himself. He can't be mad at them because they can make it worse. I don't know why they're blurring the whole image. I guess they're trying to blur the paperwork. He is clearly having trouble reading it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. This was amidst all of it. He does this joke, which is wild as he's reading his own document. Listen.
White?
White? You called him white?
I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. It's like a drunk uncle. Oh God. I'm totally white.
What's up, homie?
Did that play? Because I'm playing it again if it didn't. He's totally white, officer.
Oh yeah, faux shiz, genuine. What's up, homie?
Just kidding, man.
He's just kidding.
So you're being
Now here's where now Justin's like, all right, whatever, it's happening. Now here's where Justin comes to terms that this is the cell you're going to be in all night.
the night, and then in the morning is the uranium. So in the morning,
dark.
usually
Look at the
at
face.
night-
All night?
It might not be this one. It might be over at the other one. And they actually have blankets for you.
That's a wow, man.
And again, you guys are wild. I was drunk driving, and you're putting me in jail. You are wild, man.
Like I said, you can make a phone call if you would like. Your attorney and things like that. You're allowed to call right now if you wish, or you can call later.
Yeah, at any point you want to make a phone call, let us know.
Yeah. It's wild he didn't make a phone call then and then. You'd think, given the impairment and everything else, he would have called his wife or a lawyer or a good friend, just somebody.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm at the police station. This is happening. What do I do? Don't say anything. Don't do that. You'd think, right? But he doesn't. It's almost like he's like, crap. My wife is gonna be furious with me.
You are entitled to have phone calls.
That's it. That's all we get there of these booking clips. It's very odd, these little clips that are being
After months of trying to block body cam video, Justin Timberlake's DWI arrest footage has been released. So let's get into it.
You guys, please just do me a favor because you loved Bye 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 or like Sexy Back. Like, do me one, babe.
And then just walk. Sorry, I've never done this, so I'm just.
Just mimic him. Let's talk about the real reason why Justin Timberlake did not want the world to see his arrest body cam footage, because he and his lawyers have been working so hard to try to block the release of this body cam, but the judge dismissed them. So now the world gets to see how much of a coward Justin was during his arrest.
By the way, these are like really hard tests.
Okay, I'm gonna play this on the other one. I know I got distracted. My husband told me
The Justin Timberlake body cam footage keeps
when I am talking about Donald Trump, but I think we're finished with Donald Trump, and let me just make sure that I covered everything.
Regarding Andrew, I think he should be treated like everybody else.
Before
if this was like your next
to Megadu, let's see here. New Epstein, that's Epstein stuff. Sarah Ferguson. Trump crashes out on the White Lawn. Did that one. Yeah, I wanted to show this one.
Imagine you just resigned from your job, and then the following day, you decide to go on a podcast and then push a conspiracy narrative that they wouldn't allow you to investigate Charlie Kirk. And you're trying to tie it to because Charlie Kirk did not want this war with Iran. Yes, we're talking about Joe Kent. Before we get into the clip with Nick Fuentes where he completely flames these two, we're going to go ahead and let this clip play so you guys have the context. Here we go, you guys. This is Joe Kent being interviewed by Tucker Carlson the following day after he resigned. Mind you, it's being said that he's being investigated by the FBI. So did you resign because of the war or because you're being investigated?
And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way. And we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that. It's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI will say that they stopped that because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive. But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really get into. But there was still linkage for us.
So you can't really get into it, but you're trying to tell us that they stopped you from investigating and that there was some foreign ties, but you can't say what exactly it is. This is the kind of bullshit that I hate. Say what you're trying to say. Imagine you just resigned from your job, and then the following day, you decide to go on a podcast and then push a conspiracy narrative that they wouldn't allow you to investigate Charlie Kirk. And you're trying to tie it to because Charlie Kirk did not want this war with Iran. Yes, we're talking about Joe Kent. Before we get into the clip with Nick Fuentes where he completely flames these two, we're going to go ahead and let this clip play so you guys have the context. Here we go, you guys. This is Joe Kent being interviewed by Tucker Carlson the following day after he resigned. Mind you, it's being said that he's being investigated by the FBI. So did you resign because of the war or because you're being investigated?
And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way. And we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the space, and he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that. It's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI will say that they stopped that because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive. But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really get into. But there was still linkage for us.
So you can't really get into it, but you're trying to tell us that they stopped you from investigating and that there was some foreign ties, but you can't say what exactly it is. This is the kind of bullshit that I hate. Say what you're trying to say. Did Trump kill him? Like, what? Tell us what you're trying to say. Did Trump off him because he wanted to stop the war? He didn't want to go to war with Iran? Is that what you're saying? The last thing that Charlie Kirk said to you when you seen him in June, don't let us get into a war with Iran. Like you had any control over that. You work with counterterrorism. So that's not even your job, if I'm understanding correctly. Actually, it wasn't your job, right? These are the kind of conspiracies that these people peddle. And mind you, this is somebody coming from the actual administration. This is not Candace Owens. This is somebody from the actual administration, but this kind of has you thinking. So was he the inside guy for Candace Owens and for Tucker Carlson? Because why is Tucker Carlson thinking that he's going to jail? You know what? Let's let Nick Fuentes actually explain and break this down for us. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it, y'all. Here we go.
Kent says, well, they wouldn't let us ask any questions about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I know a lot of people are probably going to ask me about that in the super chats, and I'm sure people saw that clip and they're drawing conclusions. Look, Joe Kent is a director of counterterrorism. He works in the Directory of National Intelligence. If you know something about Charlie Kirk's assassination, then tell us. Otherwise, shut up. I have so had it. And maybe this isn't popular, maybe you're not going to like this, but this is the truth. I have had it up to here with the just asking questions, the vague insinuations, vague implications. Joe Kent is not a civilian. He's not an internet sleuth. He was the head of counterterrorism in the federal government, in the office of the Directorate of National Intelligence. He goes on Tucker and says, well, no one is letting us ask any questions about this. There were foreign intelligence ties to investigate, but we couldn't look into them. The FBI told us. Hey, man, everybody knows what you're implying. And what you're implying is that there's a conspiracy because there's a cover-up. That's the implication. This is sensationalism. You're talking about something that obviously everybody's interested in, that's been the subject of a lot of debate. You are intentionally engaging in sensationalism. You are intentionally being vague. You are intentionally making implications and insinuations. And people will draw inferences from those statements, from these vague statements, by saying, we can't ask any questions. There were things to investigate, but they wouldn't let us. What you're saying is there's a cover-up. The FBI covered it up. Covered up what? Some kind of grand conspiracy. You know what, man? If you got something to say, then fucking say it. You're not an internet sleuth like us. You actually were involved in the USIC, in the intelligence community. So you know something, or you should know something, or you had power to know something. If you know something, then tell us. That's brave. That's courageous. Don't give us these vague insinuations. I could get that from Candace Owens. I could get that from anybody. If you know something, then tell us. Then say it. Otherwise, why even go there? I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm a little bit suspicious. Tucker does the same thing. Tucker told us that he knew for a fact Erica Kirk was being followed by Egyptian planes. That's what he said. When Candace Owens pushed on 28 different shows that Erica and Charlie Kirk were being chased by Egyptian military aircraft, Tucker Carlson said, I happen to know that that is happening for a fact. Really? Because in mid-December, somebody paid for the same data that Candace Owens has, which is available if you pay $900, and he found out that all her data was bogus. It was all fake. She messed it up. She entered the data incorrectly. And so all of that was a giant hoax. And then she never spoke of it again. Never talked about it again. The moment it was debunked by somebody that just had the time and resources and IQ to literally fact check it. So what happened to that? Tucker says, well, I happen to know the Egyptian planes are real. I happen to know that Mossad tried to do a false flag in Saudi Arabia after the war in Iran started. I happen to know there's a conspiracy. Joe Kent says we're being told we can't ask questions. You know what? If you two people know something, why don't you share with the rest of us? Otherwise, shut up. What good does that do in the conversation to say, well, there's this conspiracy, but I can't talk about that. Really? So then what are we doing here? What's the point of this interview? Why are we doing a podcast then? Why are we doing an interview? What's the point of going on TV and saying, I'm going to give Tucker the exclusive? We're going to do a paywalled show. We're going to do a paywalled show, tell all. Oh, did you hear what Joe Kent said about the Charlie Kirk assassination? He strongly implied there's a conspiracy. Well, what is the actual purpose of having you in the USIC and then flaming out and resigning if you're not going to tell us what you know? Do you know something or not?
Yeah,
because if you know something and you're not telling us, then you're part of the cover-up and you're lying. If you don't know anything,
it's the latter. He's lying. Because here's my thing. Like Nick is saying, you're in the government and you're telling me that they told you no, don't do anything. But yet you're not saying that, oh, well, I know. Like, why is he not saying what he knows? He's going around in circles saying like, well, yeah, there were some things and there was a foreign component. Okay, if there was a foreign component, what was it? What did you see? Oh, I can't really say.
Okay,
what the are you doing talking? What the are you doing talking? If you can't say what it is, then shut up. And again, just like Nick is saying, we're just supposed to trust these people. You know, believe me, bro, believe me. And it's all like, no, I don't believe you, because you can literally say anything. And that's the horrible thing about the internet. And I'm not saying the bad thing, the horrible thing about the internet, because you can literally get on here and say anything. No proof at all. You can say whatever, especially if you have a large following. If you have a large following, you can say anything. There's people who think that Tucker Carlson should run for president. While this man literally will challenge Trump, but he'll do it in a way like, oh, who's advising him? Who is telling him to do these things? You know, it's more or less like Trump can't be bad on his own. Ironic, right? Trump can't be bad on his own. Somebody has to convince him that to do X, Y, and Z. That man does what he wants. I promise you that. No one's advising him of anything. He wants to do this. Let's continue.
Anything, but you're implying you know something, then you're lying. And I question your motives. Why are you leading us to draw this inference? I don't like that. Beyond that. So I saw that and that made me lose my mind. I'm so sick of that stuff. I have no tolerance for that. Every day these people are baiting us to subscribe, get on the paywall, watch the next episode. We have new Charlie Kirk text messages on tomorrow's episode. We have Netanyahu's letter, but we're not going to release it until... We have new, what did Candace Owens put out the other day? We have new footage from behind Charlie Kirk. She waits until the end of the episode, puts it at the very end, and it's a nothing burger. I'm so sick of that. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe in conspiracies. I want to see the evidence. And don't tell me you're a brave truth teller. Don't tell me you're a martyr if you're hiding things. And if you don't know something, then don't imply that you do, because that's dishonest. And so anyway.
And here's the thing we don't talk about. Remember that group QAnon? They started the whole Pizzagate thing and everything like that. Well, that has expanded into these YouTubers. Candace, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, they understand that a part of the right wing has this whole conspiracy theory, you know, enthusiast in it, right? And so they speak to those people. This is why they get pushed back from their own party, because they speak to the conspiracy theorists. And basically, when the conspiracies are against the Democrats, they're fine. No one questions it, right? Like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, as long as they're guilty, that's all anybody cares about. But when it starts inching in over to that other territory or inching over to the right, that's when all of a sudden they try to shut people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Candace down. But you guys foster this conspiracy theory, you know, on the right, because basically, no matter if it's debunked, people will still say that it's true. They don't care. They don't care that it's a lie or it's not making sense. They just believe that it's true. And with that being said, you have these people like Tucker Carlson who is making money off of these dummies. Just like he'll tell you he's against this war and that war, but he'll go to the White House. Remember, he was against us going to Venezuela to get Maduro, right? Well, why were you at the White House the following week where he had all those oil companies over in the White House? He had this whole big meeting. You were there and you were clapping and cheering and so happy to be there. You're fake as you don't deserve any kind of notion that, you're an honest person. You're very dishonest. And I don't believe that Tucker Carlson is going to jail. What are you going to jail for? Is this just to, you know, continue a story so then you have something to say just in case you do go down for something? Be like, oh, see, I told you they're trying to get me. Because, you know, the right, they love a martyr. You know, like, that's basically what Tucker Carlson is trying to make himself. Like, he's against the establishment. But unlike, you know, Candace, Megyn, and Tucker, Nick Fuentes actually says, like, don't vote for this guy. Like, we're voting for Democrats. Like, he's literally telling you guys, don't give this man your vote. People like Tucker Carlson, I'll even throw Joe Rogan in there. Yeah, they'll have like, oh, I don't agree with this or that, but they're not telling you not to vote for these people. If the election was held tomorrow, they would still vote for Trump. I guarantee you. Don't feel bad for these people. Don't feel sorry for them. They're a part of the bullshit. Because let's be honest, you can only go so far to say Democrats bad, Democrats bad. We know that the Democrats suck. And I'm a registered Democrat. We know they can suck, but the Democrats don't have any power. So what can they really do? It's Trump. It's his administration that is hurting us. The same administration that Joe came from. But of course, he's not going to tell us the reason why he resigned is because it's been reported that the FBI is looking into him. Oh, the Iran war was just too much. And don't try to play in our face.
No.
And don't get on all these podcasts because again, Joe Kent is on another podcast today with Breaking Point with Enjetti, Sager Enjetti. And it's all like, okay, that's great that you're quote unquote speaking out, but you're not saying anything. Who killed Charlie Kirk? Who assassinated him? If you don't believe that's who it is, what's your evidence? What's your proof? At least you could have went like, oh, I was fired because I was trying to get down to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Like, at least you could have ran with that, but you're not even running with that. You said it's because you didn't agree with going to war with Iran and that Israel is controlling. Or are you saying Israel assassinated? Listen, we don't know because they keep leading us on to a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. It leads us on to nothing. Just like Candace Owens. Listen, I was with her in the beginning. I was like, yo, defend your friend. But it's lasted over 6 months now, and we're still not closer to getting the truth. Now she's fighting with Erica, the widow. I don't know what else to say, you guys. I'm tired of all the conspiracy theories. If you ain't got no proof, I don't want to hear it. That's where I am. Let me know in the comment section if you guys are at this point. Like, do y'all think that, you know, where do y'all go with the conspiracies? Like, how far do you take it? You know, something that's not a conspiracy is these Epstein files, but they don't seem to want to talk about that, right? Interesting. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I love y'all for watching, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this. But thank you again. Deuces, everybody. Yeah.
I wanted to get one. We'll do this one tomorrow. All right, guys, listen, shutting this one down, going over there to the Mega Do and entertainment news and stuff like that. We're leaving this live. I'll see you in a sec. Mwah. Kisses.